Tonight's November the 10th, 2025 regular meeting. I will start tonight off as we always do, with the mission statement, which is New Philadelphia City Schools will provide all students the opportunity to achieve their highest potential to become educated, self-sufficient, and responsible citizens. We are committed to providing every student a diverse, quality education within a safe and secure environment through a dedicated, innovative, and highly qualified staff in partnership with parents and the community at large. And now, if you would, stand to do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And may we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Ms. Schrock? Here. Ms. Fontana? Here. Mr. Ricklick?
Present.
Mr. McMath?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, item 2, approval of the agenda. Recommendations to approve the agenda of the regular Board of Education meeting, additions or deletions to that agenda. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second, please.
Second.
Are there any questions, concerns, or corrections? None. All right, then may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 3, approve the minutes of the regular meeting dated October 13th, 2025. May I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
A second, please.
Second.
Are there any questions, concerns, additions, or corrections?
None.
None. All right, thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Abstain.
Thank you. Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. All right, item 4 is my favorite part of the meeting, building spotlight, and it's West Elementary, which place I spent a day or two at. So I will turn it over to my friend, Mrs. Host.
My name is Miss Lisa Host, and I'm the principal at West Elementary, and we are so excited to be here today with a few fantastic 4th graders to give you just a little peek into the wonderful world of West Elementary. With that, I am going to Mrs. B. For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I'm Mrs. Van Arsdalen, and I am a 4th grade teacher at West Elementary and also the advisor for Student Council. And at West Elementary, we really try from the moment that the students walk in the door to create a community of family. We want every student that is in our building to feel loved and feel like they belong. And we have this opportunity for our wonderful Student Council to interview all of our specials teachers at West Elementary. And it was a really great opportunity for them to experience interviewing, but also to really get to know some of the teachers that they see maybe once every 6 days, or maybe they see in the building here and there. So it was a really neat opportunity for them to just build that connection with some of the teachers. So we have a video here, some clips of some of the interviews that they did, and we have some representation. Not all of our student council members were able to make it tonight, but the ones that are here are going to share with you just a little bit about what they learned through the experience of interviewing some teachers. And Mrs. Church said it was, it is very quiet, she said, so sorry about that. We'll try to do our best.
You guys can do things independently, but still need some help with things. It's a fun beach.
My name is Blair Stevenson, and I learned that I don't like being on camera because I get very nervous.
Hi, I'm Lily Precy. Something I learned during this was there are way more than these special teachers that we interviewed.
So I actually had the same art teacher for my elementary school, my middle school, and my junior high school. And she was such a nice person. She inspired me to do what she did. So
Hi, I'm Lindsay Martin. One thing that I learned about Tana is that she had the same art teacher for 12 years.
what is the most positive thing that's ever happened to you in your classroom? So I would say lots of positive things happen, but I really enjoy being able to connect families to different resources and just being able to help support kids when they're having different challenges.
I am Brooklyn Finn, and I learned that the sleeper would like to work at a coffee shop if she was.
I think a lot of funny things happen in gym class. In general, funny stuff like whenever we're trying to do something and demonstrate the wrong way, sometimes it actually goes the right way. For instance, I was trying to demonstrate how to throw a frisbee the wrong way, and I threw it across the gym and it went into a basketball hoop. So the kids thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot of funny things that happen in gym.
Hi, I'm Elise Angel, and one thing that I learned is I do not like to, I don't like to interview.
I think the players are such a fun age. We do a lot of fun stuff here at West. I love to introduce new book characters, read fun books here, get to see the full library. I love
Hi, my name is Autumn Price, and I learned that interviewing people is fun and something that I would like to do in the future.
My name is Parker Salvray, and I'm a student in Mrs. Jackson's class. This is Miss Glauser. She is the music teacher at West Elementary.
I probably want to be a doctor. I was almost a doctor. It was a close call, which I know they're very different things. So it was a tough decision, but I made the right one.
Hi, my name is Allie Foley, and I learned that fourth grade is super fun and my teachers are amazing. Hi, my name is Helga Selenak. I learned I do not like to talk on stuff like videos that are being shown in content.
And I am a student in Mrs. Gaines' class. I'm also a student in Mrs. Gaines' class. This is Mrs. Spiker, and she is a nurse at West Elementary. What do you like most about working at your Philly school?
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but I went to a Philadelphia.
from the time I was in kindergarten all the way till I graduated. And then my husband and I, we made sure that we had a house in Minnesota, so all of my kids could go to Minnesota school. And I like it because I think we have a great community. I think we have great teachers. And I think our schools are filled with really great kids.
Hi, my name is Theo Bella, and I learned that interviewing is harder than it looks, and it's a hard job to do for most people.
Hi, my name is Coriana Heath, and I'm a student in Minnesota University. And I am Toby Crawford, and I am also a student in Minnesota University. This is Miss Mario, and she is the latest English interpreter teacher. What made you want to become a tutor?
Because I like to help kids.
What was your favorite subject when you were in school? When I was in school, history.
I was born and raised in Mexico, so history is like a big thing in the country. And my name
is Toby Proudfoot, and I learned that Mrs. Solario would like to be in the Army if she wasn't a teacher.
Hi, my name is Brianna. One thing I learned, I do not like interviewing people because it's embarrassing.
Estelle, and she is a technology teacher at West Government. Some of the things we learn in technology are coding and safety for computers. What made you want to become a teacher?
I wanted to become a teacher because I always enjoyed helping people. As a kid, I wanted a career where I'd be able to help people like the military. I wanted to be a police officer. And eventually, I figured out I just wanted to be a teacher because I enjoyed working with people and helping.
And we have a couple of our specialist teachers that are here tonight, and if you would mind standing up, we'd like to give you a round of applause.
Wonderful job. Yay.
Thank you, West School. That was fantastic. Now, before we go to the rest of the meeting, if those students and their parents would like to slide out, the rest of the meetings is going to be a lot of money and such.
You can stay.
You can stay if you want.
Jana,
I wouldn't.
Julie, you want to stay? You want to stay, right? Good job. How are you?
Great work, great job. You guys did awesome. Thank you. Wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Yeah. Good job.
Even me, I learned not like this.
Nice job.
Did great.
Did great.
Did great. That would be me. I learned that I don't like this and I don't want to do it.
All right, we'll now go to our next part 5, public participation. Was there anyone who signed up? Okay, there was no one who signed up for public participation. So we'll go to item 6, treasurer's report.
In your folder, you have the October financial statement, the key indicator, the cash flow report, the check register, and the bank reconciliation. All balances are in balance. I'm asking you tonight to approve the MEB Systems proposal for work on the east side of the gym roof in the amount of $1,700. I'm also asking you to approve the quote for Fountain Excavating in the amount of $13,300 to demo 312 Dawson Lane Northwest.
Point of order.
Yes.
We have 11,300 on our,
Did I say it wrong?
you said 13,000.
Sorry,
Okay,
11,300.
okay.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Julie.
Approve the 3-year agreement with Busright for routing software in the amount of $13,975 for fiscal year '26. Approve the agreement quote from Staley Technologies to install additional cameras at the transportation maintenance garage in the amount of $8,240. Approve the Gardner proposal for service and maintenance of the boilers at Central, High School, and West in the amount of $12,736. Approve the purchase from Stray Dog Strength for weight room equipment in the amount of $35,000, and in a moment, I'll read the donations that go with that. Approve the following: FMLA, Jay Reidenbaugh, Stacy Everett, and Kathy Metzger. Approve the following donations: the Hugh Fraser Foundation for $3,200 for the Washington DC trip. Quaker Ladies in the amount of $11,667 for the weight room. Quaker Club in the amount of $11,666 for the weight room, and the VFW for the amount of $11,667 for the weight room. The three of those add up to that $35,000 stray dog.
Super.
Allied Machine. You want me to stop?
No, I said super.
Okay. Allied Machine and Engineering in the amount of $4,593.75 for Project Lead the Way. Jan Rosenberry Appraisals in the amount of $1,250 for Washington DC trip. Quaker Ladies in the amount of $413 for the swim team, and Quaker Club in the amount of $1,240 for the swim team. I also have amended appropriations for this year as follows, and then amended certificate of estimated resources as follows.
All right, well, thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any questions, concerns, additions, or subtractions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Julie, for the boiler maintenance and everything, is that annually we're pretty much spending that much?
No, we don't have an annual maintenance agreement with them, and those three boilers we had problems with, and they're out of warranty. So they're going to come in and fix them, and then we are going to talk to them about an annual maintenance agreement.
Okay.
Are there any other questions and concerns? All right, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Rickwick?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 7, personnel.
All right, we have several personnel items here. We do have a resignation for food service worker. We're also hiring some additional classified support, a supplemental for a mentor teacher, an additional CBI student that we are going to have work with us in the district, and then our list of substitutes, whom we always love our substitutes, so we are adding to that list, thankfully. And finally, there is a big list of volunteers who have agreed to come into our district and support our students and staff, and who have all met the requirements with regard to background checks.
Great, fabulous. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll move.
A second, please?
Second.
And do I have any questions, concerns, deletions, or corrections? All right, may I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mr. Rickwick?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Item 8, committee representative report.
Just want to draw your attention to the Business Advisory Council information and minutes located at the link.
Thank you. Item 9, assistant superintendent's report.
We have the approval of QDA financial reports, and then next month, I'll try something new here. I'm going to do the annual report for QDA because I have to do that as part of my role as a sponsor. So I'll do a little presentation for you guys, letting you know how we did last year.
All right, thank you. All right, do I have a motion to accept his report, please?
So move.
And a second, please.
Second.
And do I have any questions, concerns, deletions, or corrections? May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. Rickwick?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 10, the superintendent report.
Yes, I'd like to ask that you approve the MOU with IC to provide no-charge vision exams and glasses to students. Approve the nutrition standards compliance report, which is a thing that we do each year. And have the first reading of 2 separate board policies as listed. and the second reading and adoption of the entire list of board policies that go on to the next page. If you have a motion, I'd be glad to entertain any questions.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Any second, please?
Second.
And do I have any questions, concerns, corrections?
I want to say thank you to Mrs. Spiker, who is instrumental in getting the IC people to come into our district. That's a huge service for our students to get classes at no cost. Thank you.
I believe so. All right, may I have a roll call then?
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 11 is the work session. This is for discussion regarding the facility master plan, discussion regarding the OSBA legislative platform. And for this, we're going to have our administrators and board member Schrock do a lot of she didn't know this, so I'm just putting her on the spot, to leading us, because they were really very instrumental thus far in working on where we're at. And they're all smarter than me.
I don't know about that, but.
So, well, I just wanted to start and share with you some information. I get a lot of questions about some of these facts and figures, and so it was helpful for me to put some of them down on paper so that they could be easily referenced. This is all stuff that is available on our website as well, but I kind of put some relevant information in one place.
Before you go on, can we I know we have a lot of committee members here. Just want to say thank you for the efforts and everything that you put forth for this last bond. I know from seeing you and hearing, particularly from Jen and stuff, that it was timeless. So as a district, just we want to say thank you for everything that you've done for that as we move forward, hopefully, with this.
Best people. Thank you.
For sure. So on the first page, the chart at the top is just a reference of all of our current school sites, the years the buildings were built, the approximate acreage that is located at each current site for your reference, and the current enrollment in those buildings, again, for your reference. Moving down, the middle table talks about the November 2023 cost information. That, again, is just a reference. Ultimately, as you all know, we went with option 1, which was to build a pre-K through 6 and grades 7 through 12. The estimate in November of 2023 was that would be $155.2 million for that project. We also looked at and considered a 2 elementary option, and I know that's something that multiple people have suggested since then. So for reference, the cost back in November of 2023 for that option was $162.6 million. And then finally, I also included the cost to renovate all buildings. Again, the November 2023 cost information for reference was $159 million. Those are some of the questions that we've had, and while 2 of those options we don't have updated cost figures for, I'm sure that they would be in proportion, would have risen in proportion to the cost figure for the project that we move forward with.
Amy, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Can I just want to make a point here that if we went with the 2 building plan or the 3 building plan, we would get that $80 million from the OFCC. To renovate the buildings for $159 million, we do not get that grant money. That would have to be 100% community cost. Is that correct?
We didn't go down that path for as far as renovating. There is a way to do it, but I do not believe that our buildings qualify for that. Certainly not to renovate all of our buildings.
Right,
We would have to
because
combine
there's
them.
that threshold.
Because you have to have a
7%.
minimum enrollment size in each building as well.
Gotcha.
It would definitely be greatly reduced
So,
at
yeah.
least.
Okay.
The bottom figure is just what the proposed plan was to build the middle school, high school. The approximate acreage of 9 acres, which would include purchasing the land surrounding the high school that we had discussed, the estimated enrollment in that building. The last column is also a question that I get often, so I wanted to include that for reference. And that is, what is the OFCC's recommended acreage for these buildings? And it's listed there, and at the bottom, it tells you for middle school and high school, they recommend 35 acres plus 1 acre per each 100 students. Now, I need to also point out that that land acreage, when they were making those recommendations, included sports fields, and we don't need sports fields at our high school and middle school. So it would not, we would not need that much acreage, but that is the OFCC recommendation.
Now, that's their recommendation, but not required.
Correct.
Okay.
I remember them explaining that to the groups at the facility meetings.
Yes. And again, all of this is information that we've discussed and had previously, but I wanted those facts and figures in front of you because those are questions that we often have. If you move to the second page, this is just kind of a quick snapshot of some of the key figures for the approved OFCC master plan that we have currently. And you can see the total co-funded project budget and then the locally funded initiatives that we added into the budget amount. And I can discuss that further, but just want to draw your attention to that at this point. Are there any questions about any of that before we go on to the next pages? This one, too, make sure you get it.
Do you remember what how much more it was this time versus November 24? Like, what was the increase? Do you remember?
It was a total of, so last time it was 76,717,000,
Okay.
and now we're at 79,722,000.
3 million.
All right, the next couple pages, and this one, Julie's going to chime in here and help me out. These are hot off the presses today, and it's still not correct. You did it for 72 million. Hot off the presses and not correct, but what these charts indicate, if you look at the one in green, are different options for how the district could raise the required amount of money for a master facility project. And they include a property tax only option, 2 separate combinations that include partial property tax and partial income tax options, and then an income tax only option. And each of those options would raise $72 million. We actually think we need $80 million.
We have an option that is $80 million. However, they used the template from another school district, so the heading on it said another school district. And so when they went to change it, they changed the old template.
Yeah, this isn't right at all.
This isn't, it's the wrong template.
This is the wrong one.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, look at that.
I'm gonna send the other one to the printer and go get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because we want the $80 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Print out some extra copies of the tables. Because I know they want to see it.
And there's a group of people that do this, and so they were sharing files around, and that's part of the problem is the shared files.
Lisa's gonna run and get them.
Want me to go get it?
Like that. Well, Lisa was getting them. Oh, she needs to.
Oops.
So This first one, though, is the traditional property tax. And this one is the other option that we're kind of thinking about,
Yes. So
the one that you had talked about.
yeah, the green sheet, when we get the corrected numbers, refers to a income tax for everybody. The blue table refers to an earned income tax only. So that would not tax those who are receiving pensions only, for example. Which would take the burden off our seniors, and these numbers are not right. It's the wrong.
So, but don't look at them, Tom.
Don't look at them because they're not right. That is not the chart we were looking at this afternoon. While we're waiting on that, though, you might look at the next sheet, which is an analysis of election results from 2015 and 2025. Notice this was dated originally in May of 2025, so this does not include this November's results. Were not factored into these totals. But what this sheet shows is the success rate of school district levies for those 10 years. So for example, bond levies have been approved at a rate of 48%. Income tax levies have been approved at a rate of 30%. In combination, income tax and property tax levies have been approved at a rate of 19%. That was also done by Steeple Nicholas. And those percentages are one reason that we went with the straight property tax for this. He's getting lost now. You want to talk more about this, Julie?
Okay, so let's go back to this. The first page, which is green, and she's bringing some to put around on the tables. The first page, which is green, it's the proposed bond issue. In the very first column, you can see what it costs the taxpayer for a bond issue annually. Now, we want to go to $80 million on this. The rest of the columns are bond issue plus an income tax, and the very last column is an income tax option at 1%. So on the green, it says traditional. Traditional income tax would be taxed on every person in the school district, including our disabled and seniors.
Everyone who earns an income.
Everyone that would be, it's not earned income.
Everyone that has an income.
That has an income that files a tax. So that would be a 1% income tax. If you turn it over, the blue is what is the most interesting scenario. And this is basically what our preference is to look at. At the $80 million, our bond issue would go to 5.5 mils just for the bond at 80 million, and it would cost the taxpayer $370 a year. And if you'll notice at the bottom of that, it says cost to your senior citizens, and that's because it's proposing a homestead and rollback at 291. So that's a straight bond. The next four columns are a mix of bond and income tax at separate income tax rates. So all earned income taxes go in increments of 0.25. So we have 0.25 income tax option, 0.5, 0.75, and then we have a 1%. And all four of those would have bonds attached to them because you can do a combined. The last column is the column that I would like to focus on. Let me wait until she gets them at the table so you can see. Keeping in mind that the blue side focuses on earned income, and what that means is our senior citizens and our disabled people, if they have no earnings, they would not be taxed. So the issue we had for when we went to ballot is our seniors kept saying we can't afford to pay more property taxes. So this is a great scenario for those seniors that can't afford more property taxes. It places the burden on the individual that's earning money. And so what happens is only your people that are W-2s or businesses or things like that pay this income tax. Now you'll notice the earned income tax is at 1.25%. And the traditional tax on the other side is at 1%. The reason there's a difference in the percentage is because your base shrinks. Whenever you have less people, you're taxing, so you have to increase that to 1.25%. So in order to do that and to get to our $80 million, our goal is to raise enough money through income tax to make the bond payment. So it would pay us the income tax we would get $5,634,107, which is estimated based on the median income of a New Philadelphia's family, which is $73,060. The estimated cost to a family, or I'm sorry, because it's income tax, it would be an individual, is $913. What that would do is it would give us enough money to make our bond payment and to make the $500,000 maintenance levy, where in the prior issue, we had a 72 million bond and a 1 mil PI. This would be a straight earned income tax, which would pay both of those. It would pay the bond, because we would still bond to pay for the building, and it would pay for the PI set aside. Now you have on here an excess annual revenue, because in times where the economy drops, and we used a good example today of 2008 where everything kind of just dropped off, income drops. And so you want to be prepared for that so that you can always make your payment. Because it's an earned income tax, if people's income drop, we have to be able to make the same payment even though we're collecting less money. So we have a bit of an overage here of $429,992 annually. And that amount is everybody following me?
Yep.
Okay. The amount that I'm talking about would be held back and not spent until it accumulated. And then once we had some accumulation, we could actually use that for other building or even put it into our operating budget to help some operating. And that all would depend on the language on the resolution. So the estimated annual cost would be the $913 on the earned income tax, where you're looking, if we went back for a bond again, it would be $370. The reason it costs more is because we're spreading it over less people. And, your property tax is collecting based on millage. So, that $370 changes based on the value of your house. So a person with a $200,000 home is going to pay $740. And if that same person had a $200,000 home and had earned income tax at 1.25%, they would pay $913. Now, the one thing to consider is if you have a husband and wife earner, remember, they're both going to pay that 1.25%. So they would pay, for example, if their average income were the average around $73,000 and both of them made that money, each person would pay the $913. So the scenario changes drastically when you go to an income tax. Now, what we talked about today was people across the state do not want property taxes. They just don't. And so this, and in the past, people haven't want income taxes. But what the discussion was today was, it makes a lot of sense to go out for an income tax now because people are so against having property taxes and they don't want the increase. And then it's just based on what they make and it's pretty steady instead of that curve up. I said a lot all in a short period of time, so now you have to ask me questions because
I'll show my ignorance here, just a clarification. If a person is retired, the earned income, if they're getting a retirement, is that considered an earned income?
No.
So only people who are actually working and earning it is considered an, okay, so a selling point to our senior citizens would be, you're not going to pay.
Well, there are senior citizens who are collecting their retirement, getting their Social Security, and then they're going to Lowe's to work.
Okay, yeah, they would pay for
If they do that, that person that's working at Lowe's is going to pay it.
Yeah.
But the bulk of our residents that are senior citizens and aren't working
would not.
Would not pay.
I thought that's what it was, but I wanted to be sure.
Would this affect employers?
So this is a tax that is withheld through payroll. And so the employee would have it on their W-2, so the employer's charged with paying it in, but they would also have to pay it on their tax return that they file.
Employers. So like their portion of the tax, payroll tax, they would be paying. Is there any way to, the same number?
No, it would be ratably, so 1.25%.
Okay.
Please.
It would be on an employer, well, here's an example, a LLC pass-through, their K-1 would go on the 1040. They would pay it on their 1040 based on the total amount of income passed through on the K-1. So they would pay the 1.25% on that K-1, plus any other earnings.
Yes, I agree with that. Couldn't quite you. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, ideas? Anything from the audience? Oh, go ahead, Todd, I'm sorry.
Did you talk to Patrick today?
Yes. Which is, so I have to say, we did not have a meeting scheduled. I send them an invite for 2 o'clock and say, here's what we're doing, everybody jump on. Unprepared, they jump on and they're like, okay, we're on it. So the whole thing came back, kind of fell apart, but.
In light of these approval rate percentages, maybe you guys didn't talk about this, but, and then what we were saying with the income tax, property taxes, like so much discussion being about that and about that changing and potentially going on the ballot and going away and all of that stuff. Was there any discussion with Patrick about how he feels like maybe these percentages would change? Like, would it affect that? Like the current climate of property tax,
good question.
Does it change that? Does it make them higher? Does he think?
Does it make the percentages?
The passage rate, because we talked
approval
about.
rate.
So we talked about North Canton. North Canton needed that fire station. Were you involved in that conversation?
No, but I heard you discuss that.
Yeah. North Canton needed that fire station. They could not get a bond passed. And so they went on the ballot with an income tax levy. And they did a very good education piece to the public, and they got it passed. And one of the things that both Pat and Mike said was they felt like because property tax, there's such a,
Charged it.
yeah, it's so emotionally charged that if people will pass an income tax, this is the time it's gonna happen.
I agree. Westerville passed an income tax. Huge.
For school?
Are there any questions, ideas from our audience? I hate to call you an audience, but. Okay, we'll start right here and then grab them, Becca, okay? Go ahead.
So the 1.25% is what we would need to get to the 80. And then if we wanted to go 1%, we would have to add on.
If we're doing the earned income tax as opposed to
You
the
could
traditional.
use the straight 1% and get where we were.
Wouldn't get there.
Wouldn't have this
We would have to
individual
do,
additional
we would
income
have
tax.
to do the 0.9 mil property tax plus the 1% earned. Now we could do a full 1%, but that taxes
People on social security.
your seniors.
You don't get that passed.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So I live on Third Street. And that will be. That's the first anybody. The home recommends to us, it's renovated over the summertime, is just purchased by a new Philly teacher, and she had no idea that she's in danger of losing her home. If in fact that levy would have passed, she said, I have no idea, they moved in a week and a half ago. And I said, so I'm not sure I understand when the community was moved there, we keep reading it's going to be built on the current site, but there's not been, we're going to buy up the rest of the block. I understand that you have purchased other homes in that block and they're kind of haphazard. We live directly in front of the 12 Dawson's, and we know that that's happening, but there was no contact made with the homeowners. We certainly wouldn't continue to dump money into a home because we're never going to get back the return on any of the improvements that we've made. Well over $100,000 since I retired 2 years ago. We're never going to be able to get a low interest rate of 2.75 like we currently have on our home when we're going to be forced out. So my husband and I are both retired educators. We have close to 80 years between us. I 100% understand that you need facilities, but you've not presented a plan. There's not even a rendering other than here's this artist rendition of what it might look like. And so when I was doing my roofing, a city block is somewhere between 2.5 and 5 acres. So I went with the high end of 5. And you put out information and said down at York, you've got 13 acres. You could put all of your facilities down there and combine some things so that you didn't have to share a resource officer because you only need one there. You have all of your people. So I'm not understanding why, in the interest of protecting the $2.3 million that we just dumped into the gymnasium and the music department, I understand that those were necessary. That could still stay. The soccer fields could be put up here because our kids go all over for practice. They have to leave the school to go to the stadium or go to the Quaker Dome or wherever they have their practice schedule. I just don't think that as taxpayers and residents that we've been given, hey, these are some options. The Central Elementary building, there's a lot of empty land right there. It's only a block from the current building, and that's not down there with the parking. The gymnasium would still be utilized, and so I just wanted to know what you're still looking at when you get this money, because I didn't vote no because of the income tax. Right? I voted no because I didn't think that there was any transparency and felt it was pretty underhanded that I didn't get a letter until.
First of all, I just want to apologize for the late notice. That was the ball dropped on the district 100%. A form letter should not have gone out. We should have had meetings with residents. If I could go back in time, I would change that. So I want to extend an apology there. What I do want to say, though, is I am going to push back on the transparency piece because the district has been extremely transparent. So from September of 2023 until April of 2024, there were community meetings, input. Where do people want the buildings to go? You can see everything online, this entire process. We did not have a 7th through 12th grade location last November when we went on the ballot because we weren't sure about land. And we didn't want to name the current site in case land became available and we decided to go somewhere else. That bombed. So the feedback that we got from the community was, you need to name a 7th through 12th grade site and we want it at current location. So we held a community meeting in February that was blasted out on the website, radio. I mean, it was announced and invited people to come here and where do you want this to be? And it was overwhelming. We want the current site. We want the current site. So that's why the current site got named. Traditional, like actual blueprints, and I know I didn't know this until I got started with this whole process. Like, why can't you see like an exact blueprint or footprint of a project? You don't see that until an issue passes because they're so astronomical. So you have these renderings and you have an idea. So while, yes, I feel like when we started buying property, we absolutely should have been in conversation with the property owners. But I do also feel that we've been transparent this whole time that it's going to be on that property. So, yeah. Oh, okay. I appreciate that. What? Mm-hmm.
But when you say the current site,
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So what we need to figure out though is where this community will agree to put a school, because that's the battle. I mean, that's the battle. I feel like I appreciate everybody's situation where they're coming from, but the fact is we do need new facilities. I mean, that's just a matter of fact. And I think the part of the discussion that we're starting here tonight is, where is this going to go? Because we've had kind of the same, we didn't know where 7th through 12th was, when we were on the ballot a year ago. In May, we still went down in May. We had all of the information for this current plan in November, and we didn't move the mark at all. So I don't know what we need to do, but we need to start that discussion as to where they're going to go, how we're going to pay for them, what we're going to do.
Just to answer one thing additional, though, you brought up York. York has a septic system, and it can't be annexed into the city, and it would be pretty hard to service 3,000 students, the septic system. So.
Thanks both of you guys. Oh. But thank both of you guys.
Yeah, thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes.
Yeah, appreciate that feedback.
And I do apologize for the form letter, absolutely. That could have and should have been done differently. So I know that probably sounds a little hollow now, but I hear you and I understand. So I do apologize for that. On that note, though,
We'll be better.
I want to draw your attention to the map that I included, because we have been made aware that there is some property that's going to be coming up for sale. And it's indicated on this map off of State Route 39, close to Pleasant Valley Road. There is a farm that is going to be put up for sale. There are approximately 105 acres that would be available potentially to us. And about 105. And so this has been made aware, we've been made aware of this.
This goes right to this.
We don't have figures at this point. Not anything firm. I've done some work on it.
we're getting a copy. You guys can see what we're talking.
I'm gonna pull up these questions.
I have done some work on some costs. Are you all familiar with where this is? This
Yeah.
is the Leggett Farm.
Yeah.
On 39.
My aunt lived in that house before it was tore down and became, there's an old farm.
So this is just a little outside of the city limit, right? So it would have to be annexed in, but it's parallel to city land.
City property, it goes on city property, that
Could, so
road.
it technically could be because it is parallel to that. Yeah. Right? It has to be adjacent to you or,
It's touching city property.
right, okay.
So, and all of that work still needs
City property.
but
He owns a railroad.
wanted to bring this before the board for some discussion to see if there was any interest in furthering conversations, to see if this would be an option that the board would want to consider.
And with the idea that both buildings, I'm not sorry, I shouldn't say both buildings, I don't know what it would look like, but preschool through 12th would be on this property.
I would think so. That,
Okay, so preschool through 12th would be on this property. Okay.
It's
I did some, so we met with, this is a family. I forget how many people were involved
10 or
in
12.
this. Yes, it's a number of people. And when we talked to them, based on, like, there's areas that are in the floodplain, there's areas that is, the backside is a hill, but we would want that because that's what would take you up on the ridge. And then there's this big giant flat area.
Yeah.
So I did some work on it and figured out of the floodplain, how much we could spend if we could get the floodplain for $10,000 an acre, if we could get the hillside for $15,000 an acre, and if we could get that flat, because that's the premium, for $30,000 an acre, we would be spending about $2.3 million to buy the whole, and it's 104 acres. Now,
Sorry, Julie, what did we have factored in for land acquisition already?
2.179. It's on that page. Just
Thank you.
What did you say it would be? Your rough figure?
2.3.
2.3?
And 2.176, sorry.
Yeah.
every 5 years go for 6,000.
And we'd sell every property that we have now, we'd sell.
Well,
And that could go, yeah.
so the board would have to make the decision on what to do to, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
London.
Her point of
Lynn.
Jim, that we put all that money in, the board would have to make the decision, do we keep that piece? But you could sell every other area you wanted to sell, and we know from discussions with the mayor that investors are looking for.
How, I know to follow the guidelines of our OFCC grant, like they're very particular property, floodplains, all of that. So the cost to bringing stuff up, did you guys talk about that? Like what's?
So the piece that's in the floodplain, if you look at this map, you see where Route 39 is? Yeah. You see where, so the piece across the street going north on 39 is what's in the floodplain. That's about 5 acres.
Right here,
This is not, this,
No, I can.
okay.
Okay.
This is the piece that's contiguous to the railroad tracks, so we need this.
Lived on Ridge Road.
So railroad tracks
Because we
are
have to
what are going
annex,
to allow
yeah.
us to annex it.
And that's in the floodplain.
But this would be where.
Yeah.
And this could be, I mean, design, this could be a parking lot, this could be a field, this could be, gotcha.
Yeah.
This is just a small,
It's lived on Bond for.
so like, yeah, that's,
We had a gentleman had a
We gotta get
please.
out there. So you can get these flooded down our road. They'd never bring it down. We got
Here's the
right here,
railroad.
right here's where we got the took on Iran for the water.
We survived it, breaks down the whole
Yeah.
road.
Everybody's fine.
There's too much.
It's going wrong.
Just right.
You could run water.
oh, sorry,
Yeah, my
yeah.
friend.
At one point, we all had the 43%.
48%.
Bond issue. And then the third one was income tax, 15%.
They haven't historically had a lot of success. However, because of the issues right now with property taxes, there's a big push for schools to get away from property taxes to the point where our legislators are pushing us.
And I understand that, and this is great, with all the transparent meetings I've been to, we've never talked about what's important, which is money. And here we're talking about another site that's gonna cost $2 million to buy. 5 to 6, who knows, $5 million for utilities. So we just lost by 60%, $80 million issue. Now we're gonna ask for $86 million to put it on location elsewhere.
But within the $80 million, we have money for land acquisition. We have $2.176 million within that $80 million.
Opposite, it should be going down instead of up. So I feel
So let me go back. The bond issue was $72 million. The cost was $79 million all along. But what we did was we kept the millage low enough to get the pass rate. And then we calculated a COPS issue and the interest into paying the additional amount. Because once we got that bond money, you get your $72 million right away. And then you begin to design. While you're in design phase, your $72 million is right here collecting interest. The interest is estimated to be at the low end, $5 million. So,
I just feel like
so
I feel like it's not.
I think it's both. I think it's both. But we always did need 80 million. If we have to go with an income tax, we have to go with the full value. We can't plan on the interest carrying us through.
I think this number that we have here would be the same whether we go with this plan or stay with our current.
That's correct. Yes. Until the cost set increases, and right now the cost set is set.
So
I think it increases in July. It's in the spring.
to Christian's point, so say we go this route, with whatever the inflation is, it was $3 million last time, okay? Whatever that inflation is, that number that we have to ask. To purchase and prepare this site is still going to be in that 83, whatever number is.
Yes, in the master plan.
To do what we currently have, say we stay with, how much less would it be to stay with the South Elementary site and the high school, middle school site? Is it still going to be dollar for dollar?
The cost set still has the dollar amount for your infrastructure. So it still has the value built into it to cut your roads in, and like at South, they would probably require in our cost set a turn off, which we talked about, like if we had to do those.
I thought there was items, I forget the acronym of ORCC in all these meetings, it's things that they don't pay.
There is, that is what you call LFI.
You know,
And we have LFI built into that 80 million. They don't, they don't pay for, they only pay for special ed preschoolers. They don't pay for typical preschoolers. So for those classrooms, we had to build in LFI. They don't pay for
utility infrastructure around, like in South School.
the roundabout.
Dollars in utility upgrades, I thought the ORCC, that's an LFI.
If it's off location, they don't, that's an LFI. If it's on location, there's money built in. So those roundabouts are off location.
So for Oak Shadows, there was an unknown amount for utility infrastructure. And this is farther east of Oak Shadows. Therefore, it has to be more money to the rest for utilities that we're not getting reimbursed. So we're going the opposite direction.
We are. The longer we wait, the cost is going to go up.
I think it's a discussion because we have to do something.
You're not having the voters.
But I understand that. So what do you propose that we do? Because here's what's going to happen if we do nothing. One of these buildings will get condemned. That will happen. And then we do not have the space to absorb the students. And then they're all going to have to open enroll somewhere else. So I understand that this is a lot of money and this is a hefty ask. This is the future of New Philadelphia. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So what is the solution? If we don't want to pay for it, what do we do? What do we do?
Sounds like we don't have a solution. I mean, we're all on the same page. We want what's best for our students. We're asking for more. We've heard loud and clear, 60% of voting. And then the income tax situation, I mean, what percentage of voters turnout, of registered voters, is our average turnout the last 4 or 5 goes? Because from an income tax perspective, I imagine you're going to get a lot more turnout.
So what was the turnout this time? I think
30%.
15%.
Yeah.
There's 57,000 registered voters in the school district, and we had 6,000 voters turn out. Our turnout, and we average about 6,000 voters when it's not a presidential election.
General election, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Whole county.
Sorry about that.
And I think, Christian, it's hard because it doesn't get any cheaper than what it is now because we get that $80 million from the state. And, you know, when the state comes and says, hey, your turn is up, you guys can either go for this or you can't. If we say no, that's it's fiscally irresponsible for us to say, nope, we don't even want to try when you're offering us $80 million, you know? And to Jen's point, if we don't do something, this will happen. These buildings will crumble. I mean, and you guys can pull our minutes every month and see that we are doing everything we can, are spending money to maintain these buildings as best as possible, but they're money pits because of the aging infrastructure. And so what do we do? Because if we don't do something, we're out that $80 million. And then what's going to happen if we want our kids to go to school here? We're going to have to come up with 100% of the cost, or our kids are going to be shipped out to other districts, you know? And so I will tell you guys this, and I'm just going to disclose a little bit here. I lived on $700 a month raising 2 kids. So I'm public assistance, and life was hard. My kids didn't go to school in this district, but every time that a school bond or levy came up, I voted for it. Even though I knew my rent could go up $20, $25, $30, $50, might not sound a lot to some people, but when you only have $700 a month, it's a lot. But I knew how important schools are to communities. I know what they bring to communities. This community is dying. We have more kids leaving this district than we do having coming in. We have families leaving and not coming back to, you know, kids going off to college and not coming back to raise their kids. You know, we have families aren't moving here. People are moving away because this town is dying. You want strong communities, it starts with the schools. The reasons we don't have businesses and good paying jobs coming into this community is because people are leaving here. They're not coming here. And why I absolutely understand people who have those financial constraints, because I'm one of those people. We have to do something. And what more does the community want? We have meetings. We ask for people to give us their input. We are accessible to everybody in this community, probably not at midnight, but most of the time. And we ask people to come and give input, and we take the input. You know, people were concerned about traffic, so we did, you know, what the community was asking. And I'm not sure what people want, because when we answer the questions, then it's something else. And I just don't know where to go from there. You know, it isn't going to get any cheaper. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. The day after, it's going to be a little more expensive. If we want our kids to be here, my own son went away to college and will never come back here to raise his kids because there's nothing for them because people are leaving. You know, people aren't going to move here because we've got a new Chick-fil-A, you know, that pays $18 an hour, which is barely enough to cover a rent of a one-bedroom.
Be out of business if there's not a school system and people.
Right, people move to communities and stay in communities that have good schools. If you look at the average median income of this area, it isn't very much. And that's because the jobs aren't coming here because the people aren't coming here and people aren't staying here.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, we could, you know, go back to the drawing board and say, you know what, let's just take care of one school. Let's just take care of the elementary. But then what do you do about the high school? What do you do? Let it crumble around? I mean, it's just never going to be cheaper if we lose this 80 million from the state. And I think, and I hear what you're saying, this is a lot of money, but this is what schools cost. This isn't, we're not asking for.
I'm not saying it's a lot of money. I'm saying we just lost an election and we're asking for more money. This is any dollar spent on land is extra money from.
But it's worked into the.
I understand what you're saying, but even in the project when it was 72 million, we still had that land acquisition amount in it.
I encourage you if you do due diligence on utilities and infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Right, no, I know that the utilities, so the utilities are built into the project, bring the utilities in. Now, Oak Shadows, because you brought up Oak Shadows, there was an issue with utilities there when we discussed that because, I have to think back, give me 1 second, but somehow the lift station that was down there had to bring everything up on the hill. Out of my bailiwick, I'm talking as much as I can about it, but that was a really expensive lift station because not only did you have to take care of the 3,000 student campus, you had to get everything up to the top. And that was one of the big issues with Oak Shadows for cost standpoint. I don't think we would have that here because this is all flat ground. And
Goes up more than that. So you probably have to lift it up the present value and let it down. I mean, regardless, I think the reality is it's more.
yes, it is. It's
Therefore, we're
so
considering a plan that
so
costs more money whenever it is voted on.
for
It's all the same team, the income tax perhaps. All want 51%, yes. And I don't think the site is less important than figuring out.
Do you think, can I ask, do you think like the current plan and the current sites, but trying a different revenue source, like doing an income tax instead would be?
I think it's something to
consider.
Investigate. I don't.
Yeah.
When do we lose the 56% from OFCC?
we have 2 more bites at the apple, so we have to go at May and November. Here's the problem today. This is the problem that this board faces. We have to have all of the resolutions filed by January 27th. Done. Decisions made, everything filed, because there's a series of resolutions that have to be done. So it's one of those things where we, as a group, have to make some decisions, and although they're hard, I would agree with you, the earned income tax is going to cost a family more, a working family more than what the bond issue is, depending on the value of their house. So if we have people that live in a $500,000 home and both earners only make $100,000, they're going to pay more in property taxes. So every person, this whole calculation is going to vary.
It's a different voter profile rate.
Exactly.
If we need 1,500 taxpayers, then
Yes. However, here's something to consider. We looked at this today, Amy and I did. The number of people 62 and older that voted, there were 1,561.
I think so.
This time?
Yes. 1,561 out of the 6,000. Those people would not, some of them would. How many people are 71 that are working down at Lowe's or, you know?
Anything with the
I think the site is right in range with what we planned.
Well, because it would be one, it wouldn't be two buildings, it would be one building, would that cut off?
We'd have to spend
We
money
would
on
be,
land.
Yeah.
we'll be buying more.
We gotta buy up all those houses.
Like
And you gotta
young lady
make,
here said.
you gotta make your people that you're buying the houses from whole.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I know, but 30 acres times 13 plus 4 miles of utilities. Way more expensive.
Well, the city would probably, that's why you need the annex, because the city's responsible to bring it out to property.
And is that's something we could figure out? Like, could we figure out with that, you know what I mean? If we talked to the city and said, what would this look like?
Yeah, and to be clear, because the time frame is so rushed, this was just brought to our attention. We are just giving it to you. There are lots of questions that have to be answered before we decide whether or not this is viable. But with the tight time frame, we wanted to make sure that this board was aware that this was potentially available and see if we wanted to continue to explore.
What I like to say is, we got this just tonight.
Yeah.
You're getting it tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say anything to you that I don't have a chance to review,
Yeah.
because I'm just blowing smoke. But I will say something, if the school system fails, your property is going to be worthless, because there's nobody going to want to move to New Philadelphia.
I have grown children that would love to move back.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, but you better have a school district, you better have a good city and a good school if you want to have a good property value. But again, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke and say stuff, because I'm getting this for the first time. What I want, what I wish for, and what we need new schools. I was the maintenance supervisors in those schools, and they were pieced together then. The sanitary sewers in those schools, you wouldn't have in your house.
So how much did TDA help with some of this information? Like what this property would look like, what it would look like to run utilities out there? Probably need to have conversations with city, planning commission, stuff like that, right?
Absolutely. Like I
Yeah.
said, we just got this and didn't want to not make the board aware that this was a potential site we could explore.
Oh, go ahead.
So I went to a lot of the committee meetings back earlier this year, last year, and so on. And part of the whole discussion is the two buildings, high school, middle school, then the K through section. Looking at the rendering for the high school project, I know the district bought some of the properties along 4th Street between the middle school and Dawson Lane. Am I correct by saying that?
Yeah, we bought one. Mhm.
One.
On 4th.
I know they own that parking lot there. Still.
Yes.
On that side.
Yes.
In, I'm not, whenever we, let's say this does pass, we build the South School, when it gets to that building, would it be feasible to delay the building of the high school and then for, let's say it takes 2 years, then on the high school building? I'm just going to throw it around, because I don't know, I don't work for construction. Would it be feasible to route the high school and middle school population to a better one or two of the elementary schools that are still standing, while we would demo the older wings of the high school, middle school, and build on the same footprint, but extend up the 4th Street slide? So it kind of avoids taking as much of homeless properties on 3rd Street as Dawson Lane. Or it's that not even a possibility, it's due to funding or, budget.
I don't know if there's, I don't know if the current site's big enough.
You know what I mean, like,
you'd extend farther up 4th Street, like where the Yale House is, the parking lot is, that empty field district owns, instead of having to take as much homeowner land along 3rd Street side between 3rd and Dawson.
I'm thinking past, yeah, but so you're talking about going up 4th Street past.
Did not as far as 3rd, so let's say people on 3rd Street could still keep their properties, maybe have to cut their backyards back, so sometimes in some areas of the city, the lots extend far back. They're not so wide up there, they're longer lots.
Are there still properties on 4th? That we'd have to, yeah.
Yeah, we would have to buy what's left on 4th, and I have to tell you, there's, the house right next to the one we purchased is ready to sell.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't do anything until we pass. And then that leaves, that yellow house, I think. No,
I guess
there's,
the biggest thing would be during the demo of the high school, middle school, where would those students go?
Get a chance, he's been wanting to ask a question.
Which one?
So with the nature of the funding, we would be able to start both schools at the same time. And just with my understanding, how it was explained to me, with how the construction process would roll, students wouldn't be displaced at all because of the timeline. It takes a while. I mean, it takes a good 18 months approximately to design a building.
Yes.
And then, another couple years to build. But the way that the construction timeline would roll out, students wouldn't be displaced at all.
But that would be with, let's say, I know going from the maybe Federal Lots 13, the design layout, I know it's not a format.
The rendering, yeah.
That goes all the way up 3rd and across Dawson.
Yes.
Instead of down Gray and 4th out the village earlier. But would it be feasible to, say, build the K through 7, all central, east, west, north, south to their new building, and then move the high school to one of, like, let's say, central and west? And I believe, to my knowledge, they're better-ish of the buildings. I know they're not the greatest.
Sorry.
I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
Central's bad when I was there.
Yeah.
High school's bad when I was there.
Yeah.
Get back to my so I fully support a new building across the board. However, coming down to moving homes, in my opinion, the going on the same footprint but extending up 4th would be less intrusive on current homes and how they said, good, it just renovated this year, the spot. But my thing was, would it be feasible to move middle school, high school kids out to elementary schools while we tear down the old building and build a new building?
Just a gentleman back here in the hat.
I'm so sorry. Can we hold on one second? Yeah. So sorry.
Buddy.
Go ahead, Todd.
Well, we have definitely discussed moving students all over.
Yes.
Like using elementary schools, using vacant, like other things. Like we've definitely had all of those conversations.
So I guess we've had to do it once back in 9th in high school. And this would be a little different.
Yep. They met in churches and everywhere. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, yes, my friend.
Yeah, so just initial glance of what you talked about between this blue sheet and this, it's it's a big change in investment for the kids, and I'm all for it. I think we're a really packed, consolidated town with a lot of our locations and a lot of houses involved, and the city of New Philly has created this education corridor, if you will, kind of on East High in that area of town. And wherever the construction be, whether it's similar locations or at this location, like you have mentioned, education becomes the central hub and the heartbeat of where we're going to have town and how we're going to communicate back and forth through Central Square. Now, based off of the last 2 votes, I wasn't necessarily in favor for how everything was laid out. I didn't see much change being presented, and felt like there was enough to kind of discern between them. And having kind of this information here on possible income tax and potentially looking at 120 acres, for me, that shows more exponential growth, that you're not limited to 9 acres and 10 acres. I've lived in 5 different states. I'm one of those people that lived in Colorado, Wyoming, and Iowa, and moved back to New Philadelphia, Ohio. So do have most people do move back. They might not necessarily work in this town, and that's okay. No different than people commuting here. They may not want to live here, but that's okay. They work here, they'll buy our products. And maybe it's easier for them to open up all their kids here because their commute's long enough, and that's okay too. But I think that this is a little bit more of a favorable situation in my opinion, because it shows not just immediate satisfaction of what we have to hit because of our crumbling buildings, but it shows, wow, what can we do more? You know, and I'm looking at more of a rural location than Kent. I'm looking at Sandy Valley. What did Sandy Valley do? What did Lincoln do? How did they operate? And that's how I kind of compare and contrast some of these operations. I think we're looking at ourselves as, man, we're this huge metropolitan area, which we still have these rural roots and we still have the rural community. And I think that's what the rural community, in my opinion, is kind of sitting thinking like, okay, well, where are we going? Where's the town heading? Where are we putting in these bike paths for this education corridor? Where are we putting this community? And I felt like there was a little bit of a disconnect on, well, we have the south side, we have the North Marco, where we keep the high school, and it still feels really kind of
parsed out.
Yeah. And coming with even 3 kids in the community, it's, man, one drop off, one pickup would be nice because we're going to be in different schools between high school and elementary school still.
Yeah.
And we are those 2 income earners. My wife commutes to Zanesville and I commute to Worcester.
Wow.
So, and we've been doing it for 6 years now since we've been here.
God bless you.
It's no longer are we looking at the single mom looking at staying at home and working. You know, grandparents will help, but there's also boundaries on how much they're willing to help. So we battle before care and after care with kids, which that's our value, and the parents, we take care of it. But having that one location, knowing that, man, maybe we need a daycare center one day. We got 120 acres that we can support that for our residents. Or we have 120 acres that we can put some. Because with the plan that's proposed, or was proposed,
It's landlocked.
an option at all.
Yeah.
It's landlocked. Like
So
it's
Ed, can I say
landlocked.
something else along that line because you just triggered me? Sorry, I get all.
I'm swooping, sorry.
So you think about how our city sits and you think about where we have the potential for growth. We have the potential, we don't have a whole lot of potential to grow heading, well, there's no potential going towards the land across the river. That's done. And so we could go out 39 and these people have like 400 acres for sale that they're expecting all to be developed. So between the time if we purchase this land and all that acreage before us, you're talking about the city just moving right along with us.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is.
Sorry, I get excited.
Yeah, and I'm a teacher as well, but I'm not saying this is 100% the answer.
Sure.
But it is a lot more attractive than what has been there. And I didn't live here when I heard rumors about the golf course, but I wasn't here when that was around. I have siblings that also moved back in the area that lived in Colorado as well. So there's people moving back. It's just, you know, how do we get more than 15 people involved in a board meeting?
Yeah.
I know that's a challenge because it's a free rolling class. You know, I didn't have a door knocker, and this is just constructive criticism. I didn't have someone to talk to me, and I live next to the dog park, and it's a high community, you know, to talk about what was happening, and all I saw was on Facebook. And I came tonight because I voted no on the past 2. So I better see what everyone's thinking rather than sit idle and wait for the next one to say, does it make me feel better?
We appreciate that you came.
Yeah, we
Appreciate all you guys for
Why
coming.
did you vote no? Are you willing to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Taxes and location, 100%. Yeah.
So if the location's resolved and we went to income tax, does that like move any marks?
I'd be 50-50 if you kept same location, income tax.
You need 51, tell him.
At that income, at that rate, yeah, I'd be a lot more supportive of that. I would have to crunch the numbers, probably more of a 75-80% chance.
Well, that's good.
Just
better than no.
You know, and disclosing that there was money for purchase of the land. And, you know, part of it is looking at, okay, what is it going to cost? You know, and seeing what other school districts have done, and I know this might be a tall feat, is, hey, architectural firm, I know you're a part of the community, can you please do a donation in kind and just give us a ballpark of what this would look like versus, and it's just, and I think that would just be a little tidbit that's missing. I know it's expensive, I know everything's slowed down a little bit, but I think that would be a nice icing on the cake.
Good, thank you.
I think schools have a lot of power in the sense of, hey, please help us out, we want to help the community, it'll bring employers to you in the future.
Okay, is there any other questions, concerns, input by audience or, because I don't know if I cut you off one time, but, yes, ma'am.
If we move to this other site, would selling the other properties, since we're no longer staying on some of the properties, if we sell all that off, does that offset the additional 2 billion or so? Is that something we could show to voters that, yes, this is a little bit more, however, we're making up for it by giving up these other parcels?
So
You're the money
sorry,
girl, Joel.
I'm gonna just jump in here again. So yes, we can sell those properties. Here's the issue, is it's the timing of the sale. Because we need the money to build, and in order to make the payments for the build, it's a percentage of completion. So we're gonna get pay apps to make those payments before we can get buildings empty to sell the lots. So the payoff is, once we can get buildings empty and start moving people and we can start selling stuff, we can either put it back in the project, we can put it into what we call LFI, which is local funded initiatives. We can put it in like a capital projects fund to save for the future. Those are all future discussions for the board to have, but absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I already was involved in one OFCC project, and what we did was we sold that building and put it back into the project.
Could we maybe define that in a couple ways, again, for voters to say, I know this would be years down the road, but as we get this money back from these old buildings and land, here's what we could put it towards. Again, just to kind of go along with the vision of this whole concept. I think kind of what things are not able to visualize where the potential here. So just a suggestion that we can kind of paint that picture a little bit better.
Good. Thank you. Any other ideas, comments, concerns? Yes, ma'am.
So, I don't know, I've looked around a little bit, and some schools not too far from us have done some things where they were able to incorporate different agencies into their school. For instance, Lake partners with their YMCA and their library. You know, Claymont City Schools is building on an area that's going to develop a community health center. Same thing is happening at Tusky Valley.
Yeah.
So it's not just going to benefit the school, it's going to benefit the community. So I think that I'm a yes voter. I've always been a yes voter. I always will be a yes voter because we need what's good for kids. But I think we need to find a way where we can show all of these people out there who really don't care what we say, just don't want to spend any more money, to understand that this just isn't for our kids. this is going to make New Philadelphia a better place. And maybe we can do that by incorporating something else that we can say, you know, this is our school, this is your school, and this is how this is gonna benefit New Philly. I don't know all the answers to that. I don't know if by partnering with an agency like that maybe they could bring in money, or maybe that would create grant money that would open up to us in some way. But I think that, you know, we just keep hearing no, 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 no. And people out there have to really understand that this is, and not that you're a no, Kristen.
I was just gonna say, to be fair, he's been a big supporter for the meeting and everything.
You're a no voter. But I think that if we can, I think we have to show how our schools really are for more than just our kids.
No, I love that. I love that. Great.
I can't speak to that because I don't know how those funding streams work, do you?
Yeah, I know I can speak to like Claremont's medical facility. They got a grant to help with that.
Right.
I don't know what the rules are with the OFCC. I know that the square footage that they are willing to co-fund has to be used for educational spaces. So anything that we do additional would have to be locally funded or grant funded, or we have to, that would be additional costs that we would have to fund.
I do know that we can't, with an OFCC project, we cannot attach to anything other than what the project is until the project is done. Because we talked about that. The only reason I know about it is because we talked about it with the old high school wing. We would not be able to come out of that project. We would have 2 freestanding buildings. And at the end of the project, when it's turned over, we would have to
Isn't that what we
attach.
did? Like after they got the big, beautiful new school, isn't that afterwards? Didn't they partner with their YMCA?
Probably.
In Worcester?
If it was an OFCC project,
in Worcester?
they would have had to have done it.
Yeah. A lot of the schools are doing it. Who has the library attached to them? Glen Oak has their library. Yeah. A lot of them are doing it. And I don't think you can do it.
Daycare.
I don't think you can attach.
Yeah.
Until after it's done. And then you just build a breezeway.
Right, because the OFCC will only pay for educational spaces.
Yeah.
They won't pay for community spaces.
What percentage of our enrollment's open enrollment now? Because that would have to go away.
Would not
No,
have
it
to
wouldn't
go
go
away.
So,
We have about 150, give or take, open enrollment students that come into our district. We have about 300 that leave our district.
So if you voted for yes on my income tax without a city resident, would you be assuming that would close off in the open enrollment?
no, you don't want to do that. But, well, I'm not speaking for the board opinion, put it that way. You would not want to close off your open enrollment, but what studies have shown, if you read these projects, which I've read a lot of them, is that because you have new buildings, a lot of your open enrolled out, those people say, hey, look what we have now here, and bring them back.
Yeah, I see.
Good question, though. Question. Any other ideas, concerns?
I think something else we need to explore, because Christian, I mean, brought up the very true point. 60% of voters have said absolutely not.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to reach the community? I mean, I know, I appreciate all of you being here tonight, but there's only a few of you here tonight, right? How do you, same with every meeting that we've had, it's not like we've, had this place packed. What's the best way to reach the community in a timely manner? Andy Zimmerman, newly elected board member, couldn't be here tonight, but he had suggested an anonymous survey just to see, what you would do, giving options, would you for this, would you for that? Is there time for that? Is there not time? I mean, I know we're on a crunch, or do we just take it as, again, 60% of people have shot this down for either money, or location, You know, do we just shake it all up? Change the location, change the money, and take that as a response to the 60% of voters who said we don't support this plan?
Question, do you think that, like, if we looked at this and we were able to figure out that the cost was in that 80 mil and didn't have a significant increase, because you have, I mean, every facility meeting I was at, you were there. You know, you've been through this whole process with us the whole time. What do you think with that? Like,
If it was the same price, I'd do a little more. I'm not sure if this is the best location for high school, given the state route, the 2 lanes, the hill, the topo. I'm familiar with the site by driving by, but I'd have to. If it was the same, I think you could pick up some voters if their entire issue was location. But I just feel it's not location. I feel like.
it's money, you feel it's more money.
Income tax, I'm still wrestling.
Yeah.
If voter turnout's going to give more voters income tax, I'd like to see some data on probability of a 1.25% income tax, because when I first heard it an hour and a half ago, I went, we're gonna get more voter turnout even more than this. But I'm not sure. I'd have to do some research.
One thing I wanted to throw in, and Jen, don't hit me, but I don't want this to be a rushed deal. In other words, if we would decide down the road that, yeah, we want to look at this property, we want to basically change the whole concept, can we really do that correctly and be set for a May election? Or should we say, forget May, plan on going whole hog November and get this set up correct? If, I'm not saying we're going to do this, I'm saying if we went this way.
I had a stroke, sorry.
I never. So it was an idea.
No, that's a great question.
I don't want to be rushed, you know,
I don't want to be rushed either. But this is $80 million. But again, I'm just one person. Like, I can't make that decision.
We'd still get it if we got it passed in November.
Yes, but then you
Given
up,
lose one
chance.
Yeah, but is this gonna, and I'm not saying we shouldn't, I'm just saying, can this actually be done properly?
I don't know.
Before a May.
I don't know. I think that's a really good.
Be set up by January.
That's a really good
But
point.
what information do you actually have to have by the 27th?
The language?
Ballot language.
Yeah, but how many of these details can we figure out after that?
The purchase of the land, you could do after.
Yeah, but
the ballot
Ballot
language,
language would change if it was all on one site as opposed to 2 sites,
Yeah.
correct? Is that in the ballot language?
well, we can make that ballot language generic, because if you think about it, it didn't speak to this site and this site, it spoke to the middle school, high school, and the elementary. So it still didn't speak to sites. We talked about sites, but sites were not in the ballot language.
Can the ballot just say schools question mark? No.
No, it has to be specific, because you're giving a directive to whoever sits in my seat about how they have to spend
Yes.
the money. So you leave it wide open and you have somebody walk in here and sit down and choose to spend the money the way that you have to keep that ballot language.
Yeah, I know. I was just.
So you could make the decision for the land after we do the ballot language, but you gotta make the decision about the ballot
language.
And it has to be probably the first resolution in December.
This is the important.
So okay.
Yes, and it has, the first resolution.
Money go away forever, then.
No, you have to get back in line.
and then it could be, 30% the next time your name comes up, or.
That's actually the problem. So our enrollment is decreasing over time.
So next time we'll get less.
Next time we would get less money and our share would cost more.
Jan-
And
Sorry, Julie. Sorry.
I just want to throw something out. I'm curious. when we're talking about levies and perceptions, where we looked at all these other levies that passed, were successful, what do we think it is about the school? So what are we doing as a district? What do we need to do better or differently to get the people that are no votes? Why is the support not there? Because these other levies passed. The library levy was big. I don't know if everyone was as educated as what, there was so much information out there about the schools. I didn't have any idea the levy was even up until I saw a sign in someone's yard, like 1 or 2 signs, but that was a big levy. Adams, so, I mean, I voted for all the levies, and I will always vote for all the levies, but why did all these other levies pass this go around if it's money? So what is it that we need to do to say this is important? You know, how do we sell it better? How do we really say this is the cornerstone of our community? What is going on? Do we need to get more businesses connected? Do we need to say we're going to get our seniors to be doing internships? Or how can you build more relationships with communities, with businesses, really say we are developing future employees for you? We want more interns going into the hospitals. We want more interns going to work for law firms. You know, like our local, how do we get that? So it says we have businesses, we are producing students who are ready to go, whether that's career tech, professional, whatever. I don't know. I feel like we need to do better somewhere. We're missing something, and there's a negative image.
You want to know my opinion about
and
it?
I don't know why.
My opinion, and Amy probably has an opinion as well, but my opinion is the elderly say, I don't have kids in school, why do I have to support you? And
Because
yet,
they're gonna be there.
I can walk into the library. I'm 70 years old, I can walk into the library and get a book. I can justify that. I can go over to the senior center.
Well, that goes with what
You know-
Lisa's saying, is make the community feel that this is their school, not just her school. You know, it's everybody's school. Did you have something, sir?
Yeah, Jim Lynn, spent 46 years in education, went to many board meetings, Trustee Valley, president, so I've been on these things all the time. You're kind of missing the point. You're not giving the people reasons why they should vote for a levy. What is the advantage? What have you done? You know, am I gonna, by having everything in one site, what's the advantage there? Why should I vote for it? Money's a big deal, you're right. But I need a list of ideas as to why I should, the average voter wants to know why he should vote more than just the money. If I'm going to put it on a different site, I'm gonna sell the property, tell the people that. Get a real estate company in here, assess the value of the land, know exactly what you're going after. Get your homework done and send it out to the people.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm thinking like the south side, if you go to one location, I also taught at Tusky Valley for 36 years, and having everything on one campus there now is really, really nice. But an entire allotment could be built where South School is. And so there's money to be made, and I think that speaks to what Jim said.
Let the people know.
This is.
We have talked about that.
Money, we've got a plan, and we've got these ideas where we can continue getting revenue coming back into our school. Do this project, after it's done with the state money, we've got other things we want to do. How are we gonna fund it? Well, we've got all this other stuff we can sell. But your average voter doesn't really care, you know, all he sees is dollar signs. I need a reason as a regular voter to vote for your levy, or whatever it is you put up. And if you can list for me the advantages of having everything in one campus, for this, you know, everything there, the advantages of all this stuff, that'll hit home.
So I really appreciate that comment, because there's the district and there's the campaign committee, because in Ohio, election law, as you know, you've been in education forever, the district can't campaign for its own bond issue.
It was allowed to up until a year ago.
So thank you, sorry. The committee has really focused on the students and the betterment of them and their education.
What exactly, how are they going to benefit?
So that's.
Website, and all that's it out there.
But what they showed was the security 100% necessary and the failing facilities. but there wasn't a whole lot that I saw. And it could be
No, it's okay. No, I'm appreciating this feedback a lot.
like when the test scores and stuff come out, and I know that we got a glossy little pamphlet that says this is where the kids are. I have to be honest, I didn't look at that because that doesn't affect me. We have always supported a school. We would have supported this had I not gotten a form letter that said, oh, and by the way. And so none of our friends voted for it because we said, look at this letter we got. You know, and the relatives of the friends who probably had supported the school in the past. So that was a big dropping the ball. And I understand now that that part's in the past, but the focus, there's never just been a plan. And now you're looking, you're saying we've only got until January to kind of shore this up. When will the next meeting happen? Because then we're into December and you said a resolution has to be ready in December, right?
That's true. That's true.
But I wouldn't even worry about the senior vote. Everybody talks about the seniors not voting. There's a whole great population out there that didn't vote.
Yeah.
Why didn't they vote?
Yeah.
They didn't have a reason to vote. All they saw was money. Give them a reason to vote.
I think one battle we're facing too, and this is not just the new Philly trend, we see private school uptakes upwards to 20%, which we haven't seen since the 90s.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing the open enrollment, the diversity of education platforms, career tech, whatever it might be, kind of mold this demographic and change public schools, right? And part of that is figuring out how to change with it. And I think, you know, kind of the reason, well, get out and vote for the public school because it is the life of the community and what we want to do. But what does that change look like in a way? How do we say, hey, you know, to that 20% of the family members that go to that open enrollment or private to kind of bring them back in? So just more of a question or food for thought,
yeah,
just from, you know, what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the website was great, by the way. I mean, I thought it was great. I think 3 weeks before the election, what's it called?
Triennial update.
My taxes went up 35%.
Yeah.
Up 60% for 6 years. I think that just sucked.
Sure did.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think you're right, Christian. Yeah.
A lot of other levies on the ballot, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did the due diligence on the site sitting here, and I think the topographics are gonna be more expensive than Oak Shadow site.
Are you looking at the right site? Can I ask you? Because there's two.
Yeah.
There's one before Line Deckers and there's one after Line Deckers.
I've looked at both in case they're both. And it's worth it than Oak Shadow, it's topo. As far as the hillside. Site work's gonna be expensive.
But you don't have a bunch of people up on the hill that are angry about it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's just fine. I mean, you can build whatever you want. You can build this on top of Passport Park. It's just fine. But the site work is gonna be very significant.
Because of that.
Oak Shadow site work times 5% times 5, 6 years, plus 15%, it's extensive site.
So, do we have any marching orders for, like what information do we want now for, obviously we probably need to meet again, right?
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
What information do we need?
We need information, like Christian was talking about. We need to really think about, like what you were saying, how do we got to give people a reason.
Yeah.
To want to vote across the board. That's, you know, not just for this, but for everything, right? But information, I think like Christian was saying, like, if this is something that's viable, we need numbers. We need to figure that out. We need numbers. Because we're going to have, I mean, like, we have to have the language by January. How quick, you brought up Andy's idea.
The survey.
The survey. is,
I mean,
no, go ahead, Andy.
that was actually, they said, look, people aren't gonna do it unless it's in the laws. Because most people don't wanna say, I did not vote, if you go to their door, I did not vote for the levy.
Yeah.
And so, which I agree with. So at the end of the day then, how can we, I know it's at a significant cost with postage, whatever, I don't know what kind of bulk prices we can get, but it was just a way to say, because even if you do a Google form, it's gonna have somebody's email or whatever attached to it. So this was the thought that, you know, we can figure out those 1 or 2 pain points, which we think we know, but I guess the percentages would be, what was the cost? You know, was it the taxes that was 70%, 80%, or was it more the location, or like, what is that balance there? Because we really don't know, short of an exit poll or whatever, what really is that driving point. So if we change the location, is that going to put us across the finish line there? Or is it still going to be financial? I don't know. That was just a suggestion.
Do we have time to do that? Do we have time to do that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Either one of you.
Like an exit poll?
Well, you realize the verbiage of the survey is going to be the issue because we're not allowed to say, how did you vote and why did you vote that way?
Can the committee?
We're not permitted as a.
The committee doesn't have the money.
Okay.
So what we would have to do is ask the question of something like,
Like, I'm not even sure how you can phrase that. I would have to check with our attorneys.
Yeah.
I know we can't say, would you vote for this or this?
Can we
Yeah.
say?
But I can certainly.
Can you
check
say,
with them.
do you prefer what option is digestible? I mean, is there?
I don't want to speak for them because I don't know the nuances well enough, but I can certainly.
Yeah, just ask the.
Yes, you had a question?
Jean?
If we end up changing how we're getting this money, if we're going with income tax, I actually think that would be easier for people to calculate themselves, because I know with the property tax, we were like, go to the auditor's website.
Mhm.
You go to the auditor's website, and it's not there.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people didn't know what their cost was gonna be, and I think that needs to be a big part of this too, whether we have a calculator option on the website or whatever, so that people can actually
Punch
say,
in.
okay, well, here's the positives, this is exactly what I'm gonna pay to get this, and.
Educated voters are more likely to vote yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
And that goes back to, you know, why should they?
Exactly, yeah.
You're also getting renter vote.
What'd you say, Christian?
You're getting a percentage
Oh.
of renters that are unable to vote on school. Percentage, 10, 12. Between picking up, we need 1,500 votes. Picking up,
701.
so we need 701.
You have to convert the no's to yeses, and it's,
We get 350 seniors and 350 renters. It's more feasible than constantly pulling on where you're supposed to push.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
All right, any other ideas, concerns?
I just got one thing to say.
Yes, sir.
My 2 college English teachers, persuasive papers is what we need to write. It's the only English class I ever got an A in, just so you know also.
Do you have stories to tell us?
I'm sure you do.
Most of them are true.
Yeah.
All right, well, no other?
did you have something?
No, we're sidebarring. Yeah.
I was asking Jen, through the campaign, we did do a survey, what was that, a year ago? There's a lot of money, we got a lot of good results, but it's not this question that we need. But would it still be valuable to look over again? I know off the top of my head, the price was a bad point. Nobody, it seemed, wanted to have the extra cost no matter what, and they weren't wanting to talk about it, and they weren't wanting to educate themselves on it, so I don't know if that would be the case this time around too, or not.
That was the biggest issue with the survey.
Money.
Was the money.
Any others?
So moved.
So I think we're going to need to have to schedule another work
Yeah.
session to get in the books and keep the conversation going.
I don't, everybody check their schedule, have Amy put out, well,
Yeah,
then we can post
And
it.
an Andy, I
Yeah.
definitely want that.
They definitely should be part of the
Yeah.
conversation.
If there's nothing else,
Just a reminder that we do need to move our December board meeting to Tuesday that week unless that doesn't work. I didn't hear any negative feedback about moving it from the 8th to the 9th.
No, that works for me.
Okay.
Yep, works.
Okay.
Are we discussing the legislation platform now?
Yeah, because we need it for
I'm sorry.
the conference.
Basically, the question is, are we continuing with OSBA, or is that what you were?
No, there's changes to the platform.
Okay.
And so what they were looking at, amendments were based around local control, base formula amounts, career tech planning district, ELLs and special education funding, charter community school funding, diversion and voter approved tax revenue, school funding factors, school meals, and then there is 3 resolutions that would need to be voted on. I got the cliff notes. But looking at, what OSBA.
Feel free to go if you want.
Do you want to talk about OSBA?
OSBA stuff. So, like.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. There will be another work session on this, and when that is scheduled, there'll be a Facebook post saying when it's scheduled, and you all are welcome to attend. Sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
Thank you, guys.
And you're not allowed to leave out.
Yeah, Amanda, don't go.
Thank you. So, like the proposed amendment for local control. Listen, do you guys want to listen? Or no, me and do you want to listen?
I think we can hear you.
No, not me. I'm saying, do you want to listen to what?
Oh.
Yeah.
Lisa will fill us in.
Okay. So looking at, those proposed amendments, and OSBA has put forth like what they support, or like what they propose, and legislation that they support and legislation that they oppose. And so looking at that stuff, so if you want the cliff notes, since you're the delegate, you're going to be the one like voting and all that. If you.
They do.
And it's real easy because it was from the Zoom, and she broke up her slides and put what it is, and then like supports, opposes. So it really breaks it down easily. But I think what's really important, like the resolutions that needs to be voted on. So let me get back here. Jennifer's gonna love her face in these pictures. Jennifer on the. No, Jennifer Hope. Yeah, she's gonna be like, did you really print my face out like that? Okay. So the resolution submitted by Berea City on racism and equity, and then there was one submitted by Fort Fry Local. And I happen to like the resolution from Berea City.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for that feedback. Yeah, thanks.
I happen to like the resolution that was submitted by Berea City, so this would be something that would be like voted on. I can read it to you guys. So this is the resolution on racism and equity. There is no place for racism or hatred in our schools. We acknowledge the historical, generational, and compounding reality of the systems, structures, and practices that have created and continue to afford advantages to some groups while perpetuating inequities for others. Racial, ethnic, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious, and socioeconomic inequalities produce unequal opportunities for student success. Strong public schools are the great equalizer, and education provides the foundation to change perception and attitudes. It is imperative that Ohio implement meaningful solutions that eliminate injustices, disparate discipline and bias, as well as foster equity to provide a catalyst for sustained improvement for students of these communities. Inequitable systems of school finance at the federal, state, and local levels, including special grants, caps, and guarantees, fail to provide schools with adequate or sufficient funding to achieve a world-class education necessary to prepare students for the future. OSBA is committed to ensuring school boards have the resources they need to provide students of all backgrounds and abilities with high-quality education. It is essential that we create an inclusive environment that ensures that our students have a future that allows all students to be successful no matter their race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, or socioeconomic background. I know for me, because it's, you know, you're the delegate representative of the board in that space. And so you'll be looking at which one of these to vote on and like which language to vote on. I like Berea Cities. I know some of the other ones took out some pieces of that language, like OSBA took out a couple pieces of that language. So if you're in that space and voting, we would need to be looking at, like, if you're representing the board and the board's thoughts on that and the district's thoughts on that, you know, what are we looking at as far as those resolutions, and how would we like the district represented in that space of what we see that looking like for students. Make sense? Okay. So I don't know if you guys all, I mean, you should have them, like it's in the, what OSBA put out, but I think it would be good for us to come to a consensus on what language we like and what language we don't like, and how the district should be represented in the delegate assembly. So.
Is there a way to get us what you have there?
Yeah.
Is that not the link on the board agenda?
No, this was a breakdown that Jennifer did for the, when she did the Zoom about it.
Who's Jennifer? Jennifer Hoag?
Yeah. And so it broke it down, because that was 72 pages. Broke it down into slides with a specific.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I have this.
Right. That's why I was like, a little.
Is it possible for you to like maybe put that on our folder and let us look through that all?
Yeah, or
Or
you guys
wanting-
can have copies,
Just
or.
make me a copy.
Yeah, you guys can
Can't
have,
vote on that.
can we
Okay.
make copies?
Copies, yeah.
You can't vote on that, you have to have the resolution.
Yeah, we can't vote on anything.
Give that to me, I'll write a copy of it right now and make.
We can only discuss.
Yeah, we can only just discuss.
So if you make me hard copy, put in my mailbox, or
Is this just a, like how, I just need to know Monday
Yeah,
what you all want to do.
cool. Yeah, look, isn't this
How-
better
how can we-
than?
we have to make a
I
resolution.
just
if
was
we do
able
that.
to get it. I just was, I mean, I just printed it off, when I'm walking out the door.
Just be, hey, this is what.
So, yeah, you can make however many copies, and
This is what we.
I didn't print out, I would use my home computer, so I didn't print out copies for everybody.
We're in gray area here.
Man,
If we did a resolution.
We don't have to, we're not voting on.
No, we can't vote on it now.
is this just a, hey, this is kind of what the majority wants?
When you are in that space, yeah.
No. Us. How am I finding out what you all, the majority of us want?
Are you allowed to call each one of us separately?
Well, this isn't something we're taking a vote on, but we can let you know.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're telling you our
And
opinion,
then it would be a consensus.
and
So
then
if,
you
like-
do
I mean, I want to do,
the rep.
I want to do what everyone, the majority of us feel like.
And that's what it would be, yeah, whatever.
So
But I don't think,
up to me to kind of figure that out.
Yes.
So you're going to be at OSBA. Oh, you won't be there till probably after.
I won't be there until, so some assembly starts at like 2:30, and I'll be getting there just probably about,
But you want the Berea one.
I like Maria's language,
So you guys look at it and call me.
and it'll probably
yes,
get
that's
feisty in there.
exactly what I said. I think that's the way to do it. That's,
Dodger.
You know, And there'll be lots of.
We just want to appoint Amanda to go.
So,
What'd you say, Tom?
We just want to appoint Amanda to go.
I think that'd be good.
You can't, you're
already there.
You were named delegate and
No, but can we? name
alternate
her?
in the
I
meeting.
can come and
the
sit
board
on the
meeting.
side. And we could do like an auction.
Can't change it.
And I'll be like, hold up the red or the green. So you can see me from the side or something, you know? They should let everybody go.
Ask where you get it.
I'm sorry. We might. We're so arthritic.
Because I heard it like a couple years ago, when they approached some of these subjects, it got like, I think it was like a brawl.
I hope you don't.
Okay.
Hope you don't anticipate.
Last year was no drama, smooth sailing, so.
Sorry.
I will be. I'll be like, what's Amanda? Tag your it.
Yeah. You'll be like, I am Todd McMath. Yeah, make sure you wear jeans and a.
Oh, and States put something or another on, huh?
You'll have to wear your.
I'll try to look a little bit better.
I'll have to put a Ohio State, I'll have to pretend like.
No sweatshirt, no jeans and a hoodie. Thank you, Amanda, for getting this.
Thank you.
It's warm.
My motion.
Hot off the presses, thanks.
Denver, I make the motion.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, you sorry.
So wait,
Well,
he was.
it's always that way.
I'm sorry.
Next month.
Always.
Hey, Jill, are we scheduling a
Yeah,
always
let's schedule a day.
work session? What are we doing? Because I have a timeline and I'm nervous.
We need to,
Can we adjourn and then talk about the date?
Or do we have to call it?
But nobody will leave until we lock down a date.
Let's adjourn and then we can get up and come over there and look at our calendar.
Julie's- Okay, but we can schedule a meeting.
Yeah, we
Need
can
to
send
make
them.
sure that Andy and Janine can come too.
Yeah. And schedule another meeting. Yeah.
Nobody is allowed to leave.
So move.
Second.
Rick, Rick,
Yes.
McMath,
Yes.
Galentine,
Yes.
Schrock,
Yes.
Fontana.
I don't think.
Motion carried for adjourn.
Too bad you're not voting.